His real name was Temujin. You've never seen his face. No authentic portrait exists. No tomb has ever been found. Yet this man's bloodline flows through 16 million people alive today. 1 in every 200 men on Earth carries his genetic signature. He conquered more territory than Alexander, Caesar, and Napoleon combined, built the largest contiguous empire in human history, and then vanished without a trace. Tonight, we're hunting ghosts. The ghost of a man who became a god. The ghost of an empire that connected East and West for the first time. The ghost of secrets buried so deep, they're protected by law even today. The year is 1162. On the harsh Mongolian steppes, a child is born clutching a blood clot in his tiny fist. The shamans whisper, "It's a sign. This boy will spill blood across the world." His name is Temujin, after a Tatar warrior. His father, Yasuge, had just killed. Even his name is stolen from a dead enemy. In Mongol culture, names carry power. To name your son after your victim is to claim that power forever. But power on the steppes is fragile. When Temujin is 9 years old, his father is poisoned by the Tatars. Revenge for old blood feuds. The boy watches his father die in agony, frothing at the mouth, and learns his first lesson. The clan abandons Temujin's family, 7 children and their mother, Holun, left to starve in the wilderness. She boils leather and bones to make soup. They eat field mice, fish, and wild onions. Sometimes they eat nothing at all. Hunger changes people. It strips away everything soft, everything civilized. It reveals what you really are underneath. When his half-brother Bektar starts hoarding food while the family starves, Temujin makes a choice that will define his entire life. He and his brother Kasar hunt Bektar down like an animal and shoot him full of arrows. His mother beats him savagely for it. But Temujin doesn't apologize. Even as a child, he understands mercy is a luxury the starving can't afford. Years pass. The boy becomes a teenager, hardened by survival, but still powerless. When the Taichiud clan captures him, they lock a wooden kangi around his neck, a mobile prison that marks him as a slave. But captivity teaches him something valuable: how to watch, how to listen, how to wait. During a feast celebrating the new moon, when his captors are drunk on fermented mare's milk, Temujin strikes. He breaks free, still wearing the kangue, and flees into the night. The manhunt lasts for days. Warriors on horseback, scouring every valley, every stream. But Temujin has learned to move like smoke. He hides underwater, breathing through reeds. He covers himself in animal dung to mask his scent. When he finally emerges, the kangue gone, he's no longer the same person. The scared boy has died in that wooden collar. What crawls out of the wilderness is something else entirely. For centuries, historians wondered, how did this nobody from nowhere suddenly explode onto the world stage? The answer was hidden in tree rings. In 2014, researchers discovered something extraordinary. Between 1180 and 1190, just as Temujin began his rise, the Mongolian steppes experienced unprecedented rainfall. The normally arid grasslands exploded with vegetation. More grass meant more horses. More horses meant more mobility. And mobility on the steppes meant power. It wasn't destiny that made Genghis Khan. It was climate change. Nature had loaded the gun. All Temujin had to do was pull the trigger. By his 20s, Temujin has learned the most important lesson of all. You can't conquer alone. But on the steppes, loyalty is bought with blood, and even blood relatives will sell you for a horse. So he creates something new, a brotherhood bound not by kinship, but by choice. His closest ally is Jamuka, his childhood friend, his blood brother. Together they begin uniting the fractured Mongol tribes. But as their power grows, so does the tension between them. The break comes when Temujin's followers declare him Khan, supreme leader. Jamuka feels betrayed. The blood brothers become blood enemies, and the steppes explode into civil war. But Temujin has learned something his enemies haven't: how to turn weakness into strength. When tribes defeat him, he doesn't slaughter the survivors. He recruits them. Former enemies become his most loyal generals because they know he values merit over bloodline. This is revolutionary thinking. For the first time in steppe history, a leader is building power through inclusion, not just intimidation. In 1206, at a great assembly called a Kurultai, Temujin is proclaimed Genghis Khan, universal ruler. He's 44 years old and controls most of Mongolia. But he's just getting started. The secret to Mongol success isn't just their horses or their bows. It's their organization. Genghis Khan divides his army into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. He breaks up old tribal loyalties by mixing warriors from different clans. Promotion is based on merit, not birth. Even former slaves can become generals, but the real innovation is intelligence. The Mongols create the world's first systematic spy network. Merchants, diplomats, even refugees become eyes and ears. Before they attack a city, they know everything about it: its defenses, its politics, its weaknesses. They don't just conquer territory, they conquer information. 1219. The Khwarezmid Empire controls Central Asia, one of the richest regions on Earth. Genghis Khan sends a trade delegation of 450 merchants to open diplomatic relations. The governor of Otrar orders them all executed as spies. It's the worst mistake in human history. Genghis Khan gives the Shah one chance to surrender the governor and apologize. The Shah responds by killing the Mongol ambassadors and sending their heads back as an insult. The Mongol response is methodical, calculated, and absolutely devastating. They don't just want to win. They want to send a message that will echo across centuries. Never touch a Mongol diplomat. Bukhara, the jewel of Islamic learning, burns for days. The great library, containing thousands of irreplaceable manuscripts, becomes kindling. Genghis Khan rides his horse into the city's main mosque and declares, "I am the flail of God. If you had not committed great sins, he would not have sent me to punish you." Nishapur is obliterated so completely that cats and dogs are hunted down and killed. The Mongols build pyramids from human skulls as a warning to other cities. Some estimates suggest 15 million people died in this campaign alone. The irrigation systems of Central Asia were destroyed and never fully rebuilt. The region is still feeling the effects today, 800 years later. But here's the terrifying truth: it worked. After Nishapur, most cities surrendered without a fight. While Genghis Khan was conquering the world, a quiet revolution was happening in his own family. Sorghaghtani Beki, a Nestorian Christian princess, married his son Tolui and became the most powerful woman in the empire. She never led an army or conquered a city, but she understood something that even Genghis Khan sometimes missed. Sustainable power comes from cultural adaptation, not just military domination. Sorghaghtani educated her 4 sons in multiple languages, multiple religions, multiple ways of thinking. She taught them that ruling an empire is different from conquering one. Her strategy worked. All 4 of her sons became Khans. Munka ruled the overall empire. Hulagu conquered Persia and the Middle East. Arik Boke controlled the Mongol heartland, and Kublai conquered China and founded the Yuan dynasty. Through her bloodline, the Mongol Empire evolved from a military machine into a sophisticated network of trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. The Silk Road reached its golden age under her descendants. 1227th. Genghis Khan is campaigning against the Western Xia Kingdom when illness strikes. Some say it was typhus. Others claim he fell from his horse during a hunt. The official cause of death remains classified by the Mongol state to this day. But the real mystery isn't how he died. It's what happened to his body. According to the secret history of the Mongols, his funeral procession was sworn to absolute secrecy. Anyone who encountered them, shepherds, travelers, even animals, was killed to prevent them from revealing the location. The funeral escort themselves were reportedly executed after completing their task. The secret died with them. Today, the suspected burial site in the Khenti Mountains is legally protected as Ik-Korig, the Great Taboo. Mongolian law prohibits any excavation. Satellite images show what might be structures beneath the forest canopy, but no shovel has ever touched the ground. In 2003, geneticists made a startling discovery. A single Y chromosome lineage appears in 8% of men across the former Mongol Empire, roughly 16 million people worldwide. The common ancestor lived approximately 1,000 years ago, right in Genghis Khan's time and place. While we can't prove it's his DNA, remember, we have no body to test. The evidence is compelling. If true, it means Genghis Khan has more living descendants than any human in history. Death couldn't stop him. He's still conquering, one chromosome at a time. 800 years after his death, Genghis Khan's ghost still moves through our world. The trade routes he protected became the foundation of globalization. The religious tolerance he enforced became a cornerstone of international law. The merit-based system he created echoes in modern democracy. But perhaps his greatest victory is this: he made himself immortal, not through monuments or statues, but through the simple act of vanishing. Mystery preserves what memory destroys. They say ghosts are the spirits of those who died with unfinished business. If that's true, then Genghis Khan, the man with no face, no grave, no end to his bloodline, might be the most successful ghost in human history. The empire he built lasted less than 2 centuries. The ghost he became will last forever. Like, comment, and subscribe, and be ready for the next one. Take care.